Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so.
Shoo, 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 shoo. Shots. Explosives. Explosives. You can run.
Shoo, explosives, speed, you're fast. It's a Monday edition, Mr. Irrelevant. Alex Strouf, Josh DiMaggio, Will Sommers, Hunter Vaughn with you as the Packers have hired their new defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, now the former Cardinals head coach each of the last 3 seasons, coming to Green Bay and will replace Jeff Hafley as the Packers' new defensive coordinator. That reported yesterday. We will dive into that. The timeline, the lack of interviews, which surprises me, given what we know about Matt LaFleur and his attention to detail and the way he's interviewed multiple candidates each of the last 2 times they filled this role. Only 4 interviews. That leads to Jonathan Gannon's hiring. We're getting into all that and a whole lot more on what's to come for Green Bay in terms of their assistant coaches over the course of the next week or so. But the Packers have their new defensive coordinator, which, to me, I said the whole time, I'm fine with a retread. But if we're going to do a retread, I want somebody who's been a failed head coach. And Joshy gave me the weirdest look in the world on whatever day that was, Wednesday or Friday of last week. And I think it keeps up with the theme of stability, right? Scar tissue is a good thing in terms of coordinators, right? You want stability. You don't want somebody that's probably going to have an opportunity like Hafley did to leave after 2 years and become a head coach again. I don't think that's going to be the case with Jonathan Gannon. I think he's going to be able to come in here, reinvent the defense a little bit. Obviously, they've got some pieces to fix. Defensive tackle, cornerback. What are they going to do at linebacker aside from Tyron Hopper and Edrin Cooper? And let him run the show for several years. At least that's the idea in the hiring of Jonathan Gannon. But I think scar tissue is important. I think knowing why you failed is important. But it's a guy that's also been in front of the room, albeit unsuccessfully. And I think that's a good thing for Matt LaFleur as he continues to run the show and try to get to what we see the Seahawks and Patriots getting to, and that is the Super Bowl here in the next year or so in 2026. So Jonathan Gannon in as the new defensive coordinator. Joshy, your gut reaction?
It's hard to be like super upset at the hiring. I am curious about the smoke we heard around Jim Leonard, then not even waiting until Jim Leonard was made available, which he is starting this morning. I'm confused by the imagined threat that it seems like the Harbaugh brothers were. I don't know if necessarily the guy they're hiring for DC makes them more coveted or not. It sort of does seem like this was Matt LaFleur's preferred choice. They did they did the 2-day interview, and then before Jim Leonard even became available, they ended up hiring him. It's hard to also base it on like his past experiences. They were not very good his first year, very good his second when he was DC in Philadelphia. And then he went to the Arizona Cardinals where he didn't call defensive plays and the defense was pretty bad. So to me, I don't know what to do with all that information. I do think there is probably some credence to what the Cowboys said or leaked to their media, which is we like Jonathan Gannon, we like his scheming, but we don't know if he can communicate effectively to players.
Yep.
And that you can be seen by the way we came into the program, the way we spent Friday's program. He's a little weird dude. He's a dork. Does that prevent him from calling a good defense or being a good defensive coordinator in Green Bay? No, not necessarily.
No.
There definitely will be some people who would be like, I just don't vibe with this guy, but I don't know if that's important as long as he knows what he's doing. We don't know if he's going to be 4-3 or 3-4 as a base defense. We don't know necessarily.
How often in the NFL, though, and you're the right guy to ask this, how often in the NFL are we really running base defense? Because you're the nickel so much.
It's not a lot, but it dictates more than you would think.
Okay.
In terms of alignment, who's playing where, who's playing how often. Like there are certain fundamentals to it that are differing amongst them.
Got it.
But yeah, basic. You're playing.
Don't mean to get so bogged down in that. I was just curious.
You're playing more base now than you were though, because so many teams are run heavy, more, especially in the past like 3-4 years, as they were a decade ago. But yeah, it's not all that much, and it's not that important in terms of what they're going to end up being, because the end result is, do you have a good defense? I'm intrigued by the amount of pass rush he got. With the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they had a good front seven, but it wasn't like, they didn't have the players like they have now when he was there. I believe Hassan Reddick led that team in sacks. There was like 4 guys with double-digit sacks on that team. And, they're probably better than LVN, but not by a whole lot in that scheme. So whatever he was doing is interesting. It also proves to me 2 things. Matt LaFleur really wanted a guy that's heavily involved in the secondary, as were all his interviews. And then the other part was Matt LaFleur is not stepping away from the shell conservative defenses where he wants guys that are going to make you, death by 1,000 cuts. The problem is we've been killed by 1,000 cuts quite a few times now. But that seems to be the standard and what he's looking for in a DC.
Yeah, I have no problem with the hire. I was surprised by the amount of negative reaction in the last 24 hours since this was announced, 24 plus hours.
It's hard not to the fire in the gut and the shoo.
Right, he's an awkward dude.
And not be like, what the heck is this?
But it's not like this is a guy who's unproven, who you don't know a ton about, right? He's been in the league he's been in the league since 2007.
He's not Jim Leonard, therefore people are going to be upset.
Right, and we'll get to the Jim Leonard piece of this because I think that's ridiculous too. Frankly.
Yeah, I think it's unfair. I do think Jim is going to be a good defensive coordinator. I believe that fully.
Sure.
But it also sounds like, from the way people are talking, that Vance Joseph, who's currently the Broncos DC, might be getting an opportunity elsewhere. And Jim was told, "Hey, this is your job."
He's already the assistant head coach, right? So he could either get promoted or he'll have opportunity to go elsewhere, I'm sure too. But we'll see on the Jim Leonard pieces. Today is the first day he can actually interview for a lot of those openings, with the Broncos being eliminated yesterday. Yeah, the Jim Leonard piece, sure. He's a Wisconsin guy. I understand why some people were leaning towards, that's my dream candidate, because you've seen him be successful at Wisconsin. You've seen him be successful in the state. And that's a guy that, in terms of this job, of course it's appealing if you're a Wisconsin Badgers fan. I get it. But I trust Matt LaFleur's decision-making to know, okay, it wasn't worth waiting. You needed to pounce on Gannon because you felt like he was the best candidate for the job. And this is an interesting defense. You, of course, have some established stars, right? You have Micah Parsons. You have Xavier McKinney. You have an up-and-comer in Edrin Cooper. But there's also some problems to fix. So we're going to find out really fast in the 2026 season just what Jonathan Gannon is made of. And I'm under the belief he's a good defensive-minded coach. I don't think he's Buddy Ryan. I don't think he's Dick LeBeau. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's the greatest defensive coordinator ever to walk through those doors, but he had a head coaching job for a reason, because he's proven himself in the National Football League. You don't just accidentally trip your way into being a bad coordinator and then all of a sudden, woof, you're a head coach. That's not how that works. If you want to knock some of the numbers, I hear you, but we did the same thing with Matt LaFleur. When LaFleur was hired as the head coach of the Packers, he ran the 27th best offense in the league in Tennessee. 27th. There's only 32 teams. It's not good. And Matt LaFleur, certainly through 7 years, has worked out as an above-average to really good coach. And hopefully that's the same case with Jonathan Gannon. He's got some good tools at his disposal. I just mentioned some of them. But this is going to be an offseason of kind of reconstructing some of the pieces around that defense. And I do like the idea that he technically doesn't have a scheme. He tries to take his best players and elevate them, and that's good. Now, the death by 1,000 cuts thing, you're absolutely right on that. It has bit the Packers before. We saw it several times this year with Jeff Hafley in charge. I don't view this as a bad hire. I don't necessarily view it as a home run hire. I think it's probably more on the good side than the bad side. It was important to me to get more established leadership in the building. And that's the box he checked by hiring a former head coach. Again, he's no world beater, right? He's not earth-shattering. This isn't earth-shattering news. But it's a good hire of a guy that has experience all over the place. And that's something that was important to me. And that box was checked. So that's why I view it as a good thing. But curious on your thoughts on YouTube, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison. Josh, you go ahead.
And there's no real good way for us right now to say whether or not he'll be good. I think making any sort of definitive claim about how good or bad he will be is misplaced. You're just sort of taking a wild guess in the air. Either way on that, to me. I'm more of a fan of the young up-and-coming guys, the guys who have new, fresh ideas and haven't been around in the league, doing things that we've seen over time. That, to me, is where I was looking, so I'm disappointed insofar as that. But I'm not I'm not ready to give up and be like, oh, well, this team's doomed now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how he's going to change. I don't know how he's going to use guys like Edgerrin Cooper, Micah Parsons, Xavier McKinney as like probably the three most important defensive players. That I don't know yet. And they could be very good. They could be very bad. You can try and parse through some of the stuff that happened when he was a head coach. I don't know where that's really going to lead you. You could try and parse through his time with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you could also look at it and be like, well, it might not have all been excellent talent or top flight talent like maybe they're looked at like last year, but there's a lot of good football players on that team still. So
right,
it's hard to judge.
I have heard that
either way
several times in the last day. Right? Oh, well, it's a really good year in Philadelphia. There were so many good players. Well, yeah. Isn't that the job of a coach when you have good players to elevate them and make them successful?
Right.
He gets credit for that.
It's hard to
determine
how much credit you deserve.
Picks that
Well, Bill
were
Belichick must have sucked. Bill Belichick had the greatest quarterback of all time and won Super Bowl.
Why are you
He
getting
stunk?
Strouf? You need to relax here, pal. Like it's okay for people.
In 2021, and they were still really bad.
Right, but I hate the argument for any coach, any sport, right? Oh, well, he had only good players. Well, is it the job of a coach to use that to his advantage?
Yeah, of course, but was it the players or was it the coaching? Because to me, I'd rather have a...
Can it be both?
I'd rather have a defensive... Sure, it can be. Yeah. I'd rather have a coach I deem who's elevating talent.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with you on that.
That to me is like the thing I think is the best skill. Is he one of those guys or not? I don't think we have conclusive information either way.
I don't either. And that's why I think it's intriguing. And it's I want you to have an opinion, right? You could say I hate the hire because he's unproven, or he was horrible in Arizona and it was one of the worst defenses in the league 2 of the 3 years he was there. Okay, sure, that's fine. But I just want to remind you, we did the same thing with Matt LaFleur when he was hired, and that's worked out pretty darn well over the course of his 7 years. And secondly, I always hate that argument, Joshy. It's not even a you thing. It's just that, well, he had really good players.
I wasn't even making the argument.
No, I know. You just mentioned it, right? If you're looking at the evidence you have of Jonathan Gannon as a defensive coordinator, he did benefit from a good defense, no doubt.
Right.
But I would also make the argument the players benefited from having him as their coach. That's just how it works. He didn't accidentally get a head coaching job right after that.
I think saying either way definitively would be you sort of taking a shot and just hoping and wishing. That, to me, if you're against it or for it, if you make that your argument, there's no real way to prove what's happening. I don't think he has enough tenure in the league to make any certain claim.
Right, this isn't Joe Barry all over again.
Right.
In terms of that, right? There's less evidence than Joe Barry.
I want to say I was pro Matt LaFleur. I want that on the record.
I was too. Yeah,
it was simply just because he came from the Shanahan tree.
And that was the big thing right then. Yeah, no doubt.
And it's still the big thing.
Yeah, it still is.
Those guys are highly sought after, even after failing in places. So that to me was basically where that came from. I certainly, so I'm trying to think back to the Jeff Hafley thing, because I've heard people say, oh, people were disappointed about the Jeff Hafley. I don't really think people were. I'm sure there were some. That's what
there was some pushback, but I thought
it's certainly louder this time around than it was last.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that to me is undeniable.
I think it's because he was more unknown. And
yeah.
I think there's some fun. It's the old mystery box thing, right? Do you want a new car? Do you want the mystery box? The mystery box gives you, I don't really know Jeff Hafley. He's been a college coach. He wasn't very good at Boston College, but he's been in the league. He spent some time in San Francisco. Oh, okay, it's kind of a mystery box. Let's find out. And it worked out. He was a good DC, and obviously good enough, like Gannon a few years ago, to get a head coaching job in Miami now. With Gannon, it's less of a mystery box. It's Well, Arizona stunk all 3 years he was there. He had really good players in Philadelphia. That's where the negativity comes in. And I get it, but the job of any coach in any sport is elevate the pieces you have. And that's when we can start to draw a conclusion on if he's got it or not. For now, though, it seems like it's a fit that makes complete sense. And I'll go back to what I've said since Hafley took the job last Monday in Miami. I think the replacement should be a failed head coach. I think it should be. You want a guy that's led the room. You want a guy that can help push back and bring new ideas and be innovative and help LaFleur get this thing over the hump.
What about punching players after they make mistakes? How do you feel about that?
Well, the good news is Amari DiMarcato is a running back. He's on the offensive side of the ball. Gannon will not be dealing with the offensive players very much anymore. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Isn't he a sideline DC, though? So, he's going to be right there.
He is, yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, no box, no Halfley cam or Barry cam this year for the Packers. Gannon will be down there. I actually saw, it was a woman who tweeted at me. She said, it was an older woman, and she said, I really hope he's on the sideline. And I said, I don't know how that was your first takeaway, but fair enough.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I don't.
I don't really have a preference, I guess.
Whatever works best for you. If you're not in the box, you hopefully have somebody you trust up there to tell you what you're seeing and what things look like and communicating that down to you. I do understand why people prefer each.
Yeah.
You certainly can make an argument for both.
All right, so I want to get to some of these comments.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, because I was just going to say, one of the things you've been saying a lot about this whole hire is the elevating talent. And, I'm just going back and looking at the 2022 Eagles defense. There's a lot of first-round picks on this defense. It's not like he was taking a bunch of guys who were 6th, 5th-round picks and all of a sudden made them all pros. So this idea of elevating and it's not like the Cardinals had guys that were all of a sudden undrafted guys that were Pro Bowlers while he was there.
Yeah, I guess I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing that Philadelphia had a bunch of talent. They went to the Super Bowl that year. I have no argument. I mean, yes,
but you just said that the job of the coach is to elevate the players. You have guys who are already highly elevated players, and then you're like, "Oh, that's the job of the coach." No, they already had these great players. He didn't do anything to elevate them. He just had incredible players. Makes it super easy to do it.
I mean, T.J. Edwards was unproven, and then he got his big contract the year after. I think he led the team in tackles that year, right? I could be wrong. Will, you would have a better idea of this, and I don't know that you've said anything yet today. Hi, Will.
Hey, guys.
Has T.J. Edwards had a as good of a season as he did in 22 in Chicago? I legitimately don't know the answer.
I think his first year when the Bears were really bad, he had a really good year. He had a couple picks and
he had 159 tackles in 22.
This year I know he's hurt a lot, so I definitely hasn't lived up to, I think it was 2022 you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a season as good as he did then. Because he signed a big contract, too.
Josh Sweat had 16 sacks in 2022. Of course, he gets credit, but he hasn't done that since. I don't know.
I think we can identify where Jonathan Gannon's floor will be with this defense, but much like the studio you guys are in, I don't know about the ceiling.
But for those of you listening on the audio side, we had a little flooding incident over the weekend.
The big thing to me is, was this it makes it comfortable, it makes it easy, quick transition play rather than taking a risk and possibly having it go poorly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. This to me feels like as much of, in the coaching world, a known commodity. It likely will not be a train wreck in Green Bay. That's a positive. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be as good as you would hope it would be with Jonathan Gannon? That I don't think we can answer. And that, to me, is where the big difference comes in, because clearly with the talent, he can at least do some things. I would say the Packers have significantly less talent than that 22 Philadelphia Eagles team on defense. But they do have some really good players.
They've got some really good players.
Yeah.
At every level, too.
My question would be, what's the ceiling? Is it a 10 to 15 defense, or is it a team flirting with the top 5? Because those two things are where the difference are made.
I'd prefer one over the other.
Right. A 10 to 15 defense is fine, nice to have.
Yeah.
You're not going to be winning many games because of them.
I just real quick. Tommy, who's in the YouTube chat, clearly not a fan of the hire. Tommy. Good to see you, Tommy. Tommy is clearly not a fan of the hire, which is fine. You can have your opinion on Gannon. But he said, so Gannon gets credit for elevating the talent in Philly and is absolved of all responsibility for not elevating anything or anyone for the last 3 years in Arizona. I actually disagree with that. He lost his job Thus why the Packers were able to hire him. So, of course, he's not absolved for what a train wreck Arizona was.
He'd much rather be a head coach than the defensive coordinators for the Packers.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he probably won't be a head coach again. And if he is, it won't be for a while because it didn't go well. But as life in the NFL goes, when you go back to where you started from, so when you go from head coach to defense coordinator, you can acknowledge the mistakes you made, which is why I wanted a failed head coach. He can help LaFleur. He's led from the front of the room before, and he's not anymore. I think that's a good thing. So we'll see what the on-the-field product looks like. But
is him leading from the front of the room a good thing?
No, that's why he got fired.
Right, but obviously in the defensive meeting rooms when the whole defense meets, I would imagine the guy that's talking to them is the defensive coordinator. It was Jeff Hafley, very different presence.
Very different presence.
And then now it's Jonathan Gannon. Is he going to be doing fire in your gut and riding buses and shoo, shoo, shoo?
I kind of hope so.
Speaking of those lines, I just really quickly shout out to Ryan Wollersheim for providing these for us, and I will be using these going forward.
You have fire in your gut?
Oh, great.
Did you? Shots, explosives, you can run.
Yeah, so we're going to use that a lot.
I want the one of him just going good.
He's
the best part of the shots explosives is he's talking to Rondale Moore, who I believe played 3 years in Arizona, is still in the NFL but hasn't recorded a stat in 2 seasons.
Oh, good.
Shots, explosives,
He's like
you can run.
Rondale Moore was like what like 5'7".
If anybody with a camera at
Incredible
Lambeau
at Purdue.
Field, I'm just saying, if anybody at Lambeau Field with a camera has a pulse, you got to film Gannon meeting Christian Watson for the first time.
I think they're probably going to have him on camera less, talking less.
Yeah.
If I were to guess.
If anyone has a pulse too in Green Bay,
Yeah.
keep him away from every single player on the offense.
No, get me a Gannon Christian Watson up close and personal one-on-one. That's what I want.
I don't know what that would accomplish because I don't think it's going to.
Nothing's going to change. And the word of the day in the chat on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee today has been nerd, right? Nerds are taking over the world. Fernando Mendoza's winning the Heisman. Jonathan Gannon's the new DC. I don't know. Nerds
Nothing
aren't
wrong with
bad. Nerds can be successful. He's a little dorky, no doubt. A little dorky. But he knows ball. He's made it this long in the NFL for a reason. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, thanks to Ryan for that. All right, so now I'm curious on what comes next. God, we're going to be hearing a lot of that.
The way he says shots.
Shots.
Explosives, you can run.
You can run.
You can run.
That's such a great sentence.
A lot of people can run.
You can run. It's so good.
Rondale Moore run is 40. I believe it was pretty good because he's so tiny.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
When did he get drafted? First or second round?
I think he might have been second round.
Dr. Denver Dan says Gannon is a dork, not a nerd. Matthew chimes in, as a nerd, I approve.
I do think he's a dork.
I agree.
Yeah, I do. And then like a nerd is somebody who's just like super into it. They're usually
You're a nerd.
Yeah, more so. Yes, I find numbers and stuff. That's the way I go about the world.
Yeah.
A dork is someone who has a hard time communicating, is a little awkward.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
Where do I fall in? Where does Will fall in?
I don't know if either of you are necessarily nerds or dorks.
Yeah,
I don't think everyone has to.
We're just the man. Both of us. We're both the man.
Good.
You're a boy.
Good.
That one. That's a good one.
That is a good one. All right. I want to get to this from Rob Domofsky this morning, who was really good with Joshy and company on Jen Gave and Chewy, which he joins every Monday through the Super Bowl. He was good. Good. Yes, he was. He was asked about Adam Stenavich. And, well, he's still interviewing or in discussion with the Tennessee Titans about their offensive coordinator vacancy. And I thought this back and forth was really interesting and shed a little light on what to expect for the rest of the week for the Packers, as Adam Stenavich could or could not be back in Green Bay. Here's Rob Domofsky this morning on JGC.
Every time I've asked people over there about the coaching staff, the answer is that LaFleur is still, quote, working through it. Steno's interviewing. Where's he interviewing?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, it's it's very possible that could be in the works. And then the question becomes, does LaFleur promote, a Jason Vrabel to offensive coordinator, or does he go outside?
The hope would be go outside, first off. But secondly, I'm really intrigued to see what happens with Steno.
I think it's what Andy Reid did with Nagy.
Silent firing.
Yeah, either he gets the job or he's fired. Another job, I should say.
Do you think so?
Yeah, it certainly seems like it's trending that way. The one thing I hope they don't do is like the significant coaching change they're talking about is firing Luke Butkus, and then the rest stays the same, because I do think there's also a change coming there. But I don't know how they're viewing like coaching changes and.
Yeah, so the interesting part is, and I would imagine even maybe today or tomorrow we'll get some more information on who Hafley's plucking. Because Rob also said on your show that yesterday was supposed to be the Hafley-LaFleur meeting.
I would imagine this from the defense.
Yeah, just the defense. Yes, just the defense. But think about, I'm not going to put names to this by any means, but think about the linebackers coach or an assistant that can be elevated to a position coach. I'd be surprised if
it's the linebackers coach.
I was just throwing out a random position, Joshy.
Ainsley, Covington.
Yeah.
Those seem possibilities.
Yeah, DeMarcus Covington was interviewing for some DC jobs, but obviously
they haven't hired one there, have they?
They have not.
No.
He's calling the defense. I watched a lot of Hafley interviews over the weekend. I didn't tell you this. I'm gonna miss that guy.
You're busy, it seems.
I was very busy. Yes. Friday night, dude, I watched his introductory press conference with John Eric Sullivan. I watched. He was on the Rich Eisen show.
That's all they were doing.
Which I thought that interview was really intriguing with him and Rich on ESPN Radio. So yeah, I don't know. Hafley, just good dude. We're gonna miss him around here. He learned ball when he listened to him speak. But Jonathan Gannon will replace him. Now, the thing I'm hung up on is what happens next, and that is ultimately A, which assistants follow Hafley to Miami, and B, is there an offensive change coming? And you seem pretty firm that the answer is going to be yes to that.
It seems like it with all the information I'm given. Now, granted, I left Friday with the information that the Packers really wanted to hire and at least interview Jim Leonard, and that was incorrect. I'm just going off of what we've got here, and the idea that after how we saw the Packers end to the hated rival, blowing a lead and it being like an embarrassing, potentially franchise-changing loss. For then to be the only change be the DC that was hired as a head coach, that to me feels like a level of stasis in a way to sort of not improve from what we saw last year.
So Adam Stenavich interviewing with the Titans today, as is Cliff Kingsbury for their offensive coordinator job. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's got a good chance to get it. He worked with Robert Saleh for 2 years in San Francisco prior to his arrival in Green Bay, and obviously will be a play caller in Tennessee with a defensive head coach, something he hasn't been able to do in Green Bay. So it's a good opportunity for him. But the other part that I find a little odd about this, and Joshy, this goes back to your nerdyism, your nerdness. I don't know what the word would be there. So is this viewed as a promotion?
Yes.
So they do not need to request permission?
I do not believe so.
Okay, because I haven't seen anything on they've asked permission, the Packers approved or anything.
Yeah, I believe it because it's a meaningful change in the degree of job. And even if it's requesting permission, I don't think Matt LaFleur would say no. Because I think denying those types of opportunities, especially knowing that they're not calling plays here, makes it really hard for other guys to agree to come to Green Bay. Like, you sort of have to play the game, and I think that's why if they're moving on from Stenavich, they haven't fired him yet. Because the last thing you want to do is somebody going out applying for a job after just being fired. Like, if you can prevent that, you should do that. Because guys around the league will pay attention.
All right, so if the Packers are going to replace their offensive coordinator, which you and I are both in agreement on, I think that will happen.
Yes.
And it seems like Bisaccia will stay the same, but 2 of 3 coordinator change, that I view that as a positive. I want another failed head coach.
That's hard to imagine. I think you have to look for like an up-and-comer.
What about like a Brian Callahan?
No, thanks.
Dable?
See, the thing is,
he's going to get that without
being given play calling. you have to look for a specific guy. You have to look for a guy who's looking for a step up, but not necessarily the most ideal step up. Like, you can certainly get hired out of that spot. We've seen it happen before. Nathaniel Hackett and Joe Philbin have both done that as now play callers.
I was just about to bring up that name, by the way.
But those guys, if you think back to them, they weren't former guys. I would prefer new ideas. Somebody completely different. I don't care. I don't mind if they're McVay tree or Shanahan tree. That to me, that could be great. I just want younger, newer, something we haven't seen before. The last thing I want to see is promote from within. I think we've done enough of that.
Nathaniel Hackett is what I fear.
That would be. See, I could make a case that wouldn't be that bad.
I think I could too.
They were in the red
I was going to say they were really good in the red zone when he was here, but also like, I want fresh ideas. I want something new, and that's why an internal promotion doesn't excite me, and B, that's why I also fear Nathaniel Hackett, because he's been on the defensive side of the football this past year with Green Bay. I think his title is defensive analyst. He worked with Jeff Hafley. He's in the building. Obviously, he is a failed head coach, which is something I do value. But we've been here before. Let's try something new. Nathaniel Hackett
saying that failed head coach thing.
Yeah, can we get a failed head coach counter?
Well,
it's got to be double digits at least.
Oh, it is.
At least
it is, especially if we count the entirety of the last week. I bet we're approaching 100.
And I don't. Failed head coaches don't always then go back to being a coordinator and work out. That's the confounding part to me on this a bit.
I don't think they always work out either. That's not the case I'm making.
But it seems to be really important to you, and I can't really figure out why.
The leadership aspect is the big part.
Yeah, but hasn't there been plenty of head coaches that were bad leaders?
Yeah.
Brian Flores.
Yeah, but good coordinator.
You guys understand where this is coming from for Strouf, even though I don't know if he realizes it. There was a
I don't think I do.
I remember a conversation on College Game Day about how that was the big thing that Nick Saban did, and they tried to attribute his success because he would take failed college coaches, they'd rehab in Alabama for a couple seasons, and then go get another job.
Saban?
Yeah.
Get LaFleur.
So that's what Strouf is trying to do here.
Gotcha. I mean, it certainly, I think now if we play off that, I think it's very different being a failed head coach and working under Nick Saban than it would be being a failed head coach and working under Matt LaFleur. Those seem to be personality-wise very different types of guys. Is there a piece here if they do end up going, a route where it's like, what the hell is this hire for OC if it becomes available, where Matt LaFleur is looking for unthreatening guys behind him?
Say that again.
If the offensive coordinator job becomes available, which we still don't know for sure if it's going to, and say they do hire a Hackett, and you went into an offseason, lost two coordinators, and hired Jonathan Gannon and Nathaniel Hackett, do we think maybe he's hiring guys he doesn't view as a threat for his job? And a threat to sort of take over the room, be the bigger voice?
It's an interesting question from that perspective. The reason I think you're asking this, and I'm going to answer this with a question. Do you believe he viewed Jeff Hafley as a threat?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think the way the media talked about him and fawned over him in the fan base and many of his players, I do think there's a part of you that, I mean, even as a competitive person, that sort of weighs into your personality. Now, I don't know if it makes you make bad decisions, because obviously he had no decision as far as Jeff Hafley becoming the Miami Dolphins head coach. But there is part of me that is starting to wonder that. There's no certain proof of it. There's no insider saying that. It does feel interesting that the first opportunity they get to hire somebody is a different type of guy than the one they hired last time. There is a rush to make sure that guy didn't get away. Mm-hmm. And then we don't know what's happening at that OC job. Mm. He seemed to change how he approached the interview process this time around, and that to me was curious.
Josh chimes in. Is LaFleur hiring Gannon like Strouf hiring Will?
No.
No, I do fear. I do fear you.
That'd be like if LaFleur hired Mike McDaniel.
We could do better than that.
I guess I'm trying to make the connection there. He hired a guy who's an actual threat?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And really cool.
And really cool.
And wears some variation of pants and shorts.
Shots, explosives. You can run.
Do you identify with Mike McDaniel?
No, it's just the first person that popped in my head that is kind of like me.
Oh. What do you guys have in common?
We're both short.
Yeah.
He went to Yale, so we're both pretty smart, too.
You know what they say.
Athletic.
Concordia, the Yale of the Midwest.
Yeah, the Yale of Wisconsin, I think is what it's called.
Oh, gotcha. Very good. Okay, that's lovely. All right, Rich Bisaccia. We've kind of landed on this, but once again confirmed this morning by Rob Domofsky on Jen Gabe and Chewy, and it just makes me sad. So let's all be sad together. Here's Mark Chmura and Rob Domofsky this morning talking about the future of Rich Bisaccia.
Sorry, the one you sent me is not about that. You sent me a Halfley clip.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
It's like, I could play this, but it's not going to be what you wanted.
Never mind, you're not Matt LaFleur anymore. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't mismanage. He wouldn't mismanage a game at all.
No, he wouldn't mismanage the clock.
No.
It is the second half, though.
Yeah, it's about that time.
It is. Can I just do a thing where I play it off my phone?
I'd prefer if we didn't.
Yeah.
How about you send
You
the
paraphrase?
How about you send him the clip?
Or paraphrase it.
Is Bisaccia safe, Rob?
But it sure looks like it. And everybody I talked to said that the perception of Bisaccia inside the building is much, much different than the fans' view of him outside the building. I know people probably aren't going to like it, but he is very well thought of in the building.
How'd that work?
That actually sounded 1,000 times better than I had anticipated.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah, okay, good.
You're doing better in the second half than Matt LaFleur.
I wouldn't make a habit of doing that, but it went
In a
better.
pinch?
Yeah, it went better than I anticipated. So credit to you for that. Yeah, it's quite obvious. There's a reason every single person asked about that has that message. It's because there's people inside the building telling them that message.
Yeah, no doubt.
And this, most of the time, I got to be careful how I phrase this.
Oh, boy.
Most of the time, the people inside the building are more right than the fans. The problem is when the building's wrong, they're usually wrong in very, very big and important ways. Mm-hmm. You can cite Joe Barry coming back for some reason a third year when everybody knew, like, hey, this is run its course. They need to get rid of this guy. Yep. Matt LaFleur stuck with his guy. You can point to every single person on earth saying, please draft TJ Watt. No, we want Kevin King.
No, we're going to trade back and draft Kevin King.
You can point to Jordan Morgan over Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
There are these instances, and there are times where sometimes what the building believes is based on either bad information or an incorrect set of beliefs.
Yep. Or incorrect information, right?
Yeah, and I don't deny that players really like Rich Bisaccia. I don't deny that Matt LaFleur thinks he's an important part of the culture. The problem is, I would deny he's like beneficial to the Green Bay Packers as a whole. Like, there's plenty of people. I mean, if you've worked in any profession, there's people who you love having around the office. They do blank all. They aren't good for the bottom line.
You're referring to anybody in particular, by chance?
No, most of those people I'm referring to people who will likely get fired are not currently here.
So I'm okay?
Yes,
that was
not a shot at you, a veiled shot at you. No, that was not. I didn't make it more direct. But we all know them. It's a fun guy. I like him. He's good to talk to. Now, ask me what he does 9 to 5. I couldn't really tell you.
Got it.
He's a big mingler. He's a good vibes guy.
And that's where we land on with Bisaccia.
That's what it seems like.
It just seems like, what is the analogy that Jason's made before? He's like the cool grandpa. I don't know if that's worth $2 million a year.
A good hang, you'd be surprised.
Right.
A good hang is worth a lot.
Yeah, it's just they might just be wrong on this one, and we have to allow for that.
Yeah, but he's too loyal. He's too loyal.
Yes, and that seems to be one of his biggest flaws.
Oh, it is his biggest flaw. It's a wonderful human quality.
Rob mentioned it earlier when they refire, was it Menenga or when it was just like the most obvious you have to fire this guy, and it took Matt LaFleur like weeks to do it.
Well, Barry too. Oh yeah, when he actually did it, it was Menenga. Yeah,
right.
It was before
because he
Mo
was
trade.
like trying to find him another position in the organization. It's like, no man, I know you want to be nice, but the NFL is like known for being cold. They'll cut you off. They'll cut off your leg if it benefits them in the instant.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
Dr. Denver Dan chimes in. A $2 million salary to be a vibe guy. Where do I apply?
Yeah,
he's debatably our YouTube chat vibe guy, and he does it for free 3 times a week.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. I mean, there's probably a couple vibe guys here we could point out where if you asked even their manager what they do, they wouldn't really have a good answer.
Is that a shot at me?
Nope. No, there's somebody that walks around here.
Okay. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Joshy in management taking shots at people on the show. This is a crazy show.
Let's just hope nobody sees that. All right, let's move on to this. Joshy, I have a question for you, and I've thought about my answer all day, and I'm really struggling. Are you ready? It's Seattle and New England in the Super Bowl after their wins last night. Okay, so that will be your Super Bowl 60 matchup. What do the Green Bay Packers have that is as good as either of those teams, or better?
Quarterback.
The quarterback is better than Drake May and Sam Darnold.
I don't know. Well, the numbers would tell us Drake May was better this season, but I don't think one individual season, especially for a second year quarterback, is necessarily going to be the entirety of his future. But I do think Sam Darnold answered the question we were all begging him to answer of, is he going to be that good? Drake May, I think, has looked pretty pedestrian.
I agree.
But done enough to win. He had that big, obviously, run that sort of sealed the deal for them. But the quarterback play that either they got during the regular season or in the postseason is why both those teams are where they are, why the Seahawks earned the bye. I thought Darnold was fantastic yesterday. Other than that, it's not coaching. I'd say Seattle's offense is better. I'd say New England's and Seattle's defense is better. I think probably holistically, if you were to go position by position, the Packers' offense is a little better than New England's.
Yep.
But other than that...
Healthy, I would agree.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have a great idea.
I don't either. And quarterback was one thing that popped in my head, but I go, it's close.
Drake May might have had like the easiest road to the Super Bowl of all time.
Go ahead, rattle it off for us quick.
It was Justin Herbert with an O-line that can't stop a nosebleed. C.J. Stroud, who forgot how he took
4
football
interceptions.
back with the forward pass, and then Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah. Stidham almost won it.
I think if Bo Nix plays that game, the Broncos easily win.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I think they coast. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Besides that one drive, he didn't really do anything. And they missed, 2 field goals?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. And
Patriots missed one, too.
Is this a
Take the
good
points.
Super Bowl?
I think so.
Yes.
I think the game will be good.
A lot of people were saying that it's going to be boring, like Darnold versus May. Neither of them are flashy, but I think either way, the storyline is pretty good. Where you have a second-year quarterback in the Super Bowl, and you have Sam Darnold, who has been counted out so many times, winning a Super Bowl. The thought of either of them.
I sneaky think the Seahawks win it running away.
Yeah.
They're 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah. It was started at 3.5 and it instantly climbed.
I think we might see, to Josh's point, this might be for Super Bowl MVP, either Darnold or JSN sort of battle, because I think he's going to get a lot of completions to him. They looked really on point on Sunday.
They were
There's another one when they made the wrong decision. LVN over JSN.
That's true. Yeah.
have
Three-letter
you
acronym.
guys seen
It is
that
important
the Seahawks...
it is important to recall. Hold on, real quickly before you get to that. It is important to recall Brian Hartline, the wide receivers coach of Ohio State.
Dolphins legend.
When JSN was coming out and going into the draft, he said he is the best wide receiver I've ever coached. Now think back to the guys that Brian Hartline has coached.
Yeah.
At Ohio State.
There's a lot of them.
Probably listen to that guy. He knows he knows talent. He sees it every single day. He's no longer the wide receiver coach, I believe. I believe he took
He's a head coach, isn't he?
Yeah. But when he said that, I kind of looked at him sideways, and then you saw JSN this year, and you go, Oh.
Unbelievable this year, and he was great.
It's crazy what Shane
Hunter,
Waldron.
what'd you have to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
So this I just thought was wild. The Seattle Seahawks in the 21st century, when a new pope has been elected that year, the next year the Seahawks are the 1 seed and win the Super Bowl. 2005, Pope Benedict XVI elected, Seahawks win the Super Bowl. Or go to the Super Bowl. 2013,
I was going to say they lost that Super Bowl to Pittsburgh. Yeah.
2013, Pope Francis elected. They went to the Super Bowl. 2015, now Pope Leo, and they're in the Super Bowl. All 3 times they were the 1 seed as well. So,
Wow.
Will thought he had the Pope on his side for the Bears. Little did he know
I still
the
think
Seahawks.
we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turns out
And Giuseppe
God,
Joseph-
big Seahawks guy.
Giuseppe Joseph chimes in with this one. Here's a gut punch. It's Elliott Wolf versus John Schneider.
We talked about it this morning.
Yep.
Jen gave me chewy. Elliott Wolf. John Snyder would have never been the guy here. He was hired away, like at the start of the Ted Thompson.
Ted, yeah.
So that would have been really hard to pull
But the
off.
Packers picked Goody over Elliott Wolf.
Sure
Those are their
did.
2 finalists.
They actually picked Russ Ball over Elliott, but then Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy nearly threw an insurrection, and then they hired Brian Gutekunst. I believe that's the telling of how that actually went.
I didn't realize Russ Ball was almost the GM.
I believe you'd have to ask Jason how that exactly went, but I believe he's told that story before.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Well,
good
that was
weekly
enjoyable.
Wilby episode.
Feels like we're far apart. Feel like we're far away.
Like physically?
Like the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl. Like
Sure, it does.
A little bit of a gut punch.
Last we saw them, they gave
Now,
up a historic.
I will say this, right? Like, and I hate the excuse of injuries, but the injuries really did hurt them a lot this year. Of
course.
They're not the 7 seed if Micah and Kraft are healthy, but they're not in the Super Bowl if Micah and Kraft are healthy, I don't think. They might have been in the NFC Championship game, and they might get there next year, but they need some things to go their way this offseason, man. Without a first-round pick on top of that, they've got some hard decisions to make in terms of the cap and who they bring back and who they don't.
I think a healthy team gets to the NFC Championship game. Do they beat the Seahawks? I have my doubts.
Agreed.
I definitely think they would have. I think they would have played the Seahawks probably better. I think they have a better chance than the Rams did. The Rams looked. Sure, things didn't go their way. The punt return or just falling backwards, that was a tough look. But hey, if there's a team that's going to recreate special teams miscues, it's your Green Bay Packers.
It's true. Yeah, I saw a stat on EPA.
Yeah.
It was Shanahan, McVay, and LaFleur since I think 2020.
Yeah.
Like just unbelievably the bottom 3 teams.
Well, McVay and LaFleur were worse than the next highest by about 100.
Yeah.
And then it was, third place was Shanahan.
Third to last place.
Yeah.
Ranking 30th in the league.
Yeah. Those guys just not their gig.
Special teams is not their thing for whatever reason. Offense, a little bit better than that. Special teams.
Yeah, I would bet if you took those same things and went EPA on offense for head coaches, it might be directly.
They might be the
inverse.
top 3.
Yeah.
They might be the top 3 since 2020. But anyway. All right, let's get to what we missed and what we learned. I know there was a what we missed / learned. We have a word today.
2.
We have 2 words today.
2 words.
Oh boy! So Will after a big weekend is learning a lot today. Let's go.
We also learned me and Josh had a lot of fun over the weekend in his bet, and we forgot to document it because we had so much fun.
Yeah,
It
my
is
phone
what?
stopped working.
He's paying up his picks bet with me this weekend.
You guys are so full of it.
And we had so much fun that
We
we
had a
forgot
great
to tell
time.
you guys.
I was with you.
I was in the sauna.
Yeah, we
It
were
was nuts.
Yeah, we were saunaing,
Sauna
ice
boys.
bathing.
That's our new thing.
Yeah, sauna boys.
All right, you guys are watching the Royal Rumble together this weekend. Is my understanding.
Nope.
The Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble's this weekend, or the Grammys? That's on Sunday.
I got big plans.
What are your big plans? Going to Will's.
Nah, I got a birthday party.
Why'd you guys lie to me?
What do you mean?
What was that? Why'd you just do that?
Yeah.
You haven't paid off your bet yet.
That was.
What do you mean me?
Yeah, we were just telling you how our weekend was.
You guys weren't together. I was with Will.
Not
When?
the whole weekend.
We were together on Friday.
For an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Saturday I called you,
Yeah.
and you were not with Josh.
How do you know?
Yeah, maybe we just didn't tell you. Maybe we were keeping a little secret. Secret squirrels.
Secret squirrels. Secret sauna boys.
Oh, yeah, very good. All right, what do you got?
We got Static Or stasis, sorry.
Stasis.
Which I think means static. Or being static.
It's a period of
unmoving.
A period or state of inactivity or equilibrium.
Jonathan Gannon's defense have entered a state of stasis after making a Super Bowl in 2022.
Dodgy? What's the ruling on that?
It could be true, but the facts of it would make it incorrect.
Yeah. Not going to count that one.
But if we're testing him on using the word correctly, I think we're mostly there.
Okay, great. What's the second
Wait,
word?
play the good.
What's the second word?
Good.
Insurrection?
You don't know what an insurrection is?
Well, come on.
I feel like that's like, all right. I think of the word resurrection. Is it like a rebellion?
Yeah.
Rebelling against?
Okay.
I don't know if how you got there was correct, but yes.
There was infamously something that
Jonathan
happened.
Gannon had an insurrection against his running back on the sideline.
No. Because he's the
Violent rebellion?
No, but he's the Gannon would be the leader.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
would be-
people
the
rising.
The defense may lead an insurrection after one of his leadership speeches.
You should Google insurrection
Good.
and
Good.
I don't know, the Capitol.
Yeah, and like
See if
20 days ago.
Oh.
Exactly 20 days ago.
Good. Good.
You might have heard of it. You might have seen that in the news.
Also, Shadur Sanders to the Pro Bowl.
I was actually about to bring that up. Shador's going to the Pro Bowl for Drake May. Can we just retire the Pro Bowl?
It's a good swap.
I think
Dude,
there
for
needs
flag
to be
football,
like
he's going to be awesome.
I think there actually needs to be like a removal of any incentives being attached to it. Like that to me is like a must.
Yeah.
Like to have it involved in contracts or whatever whatsoever. I mean, he very well might have been the 16th option for starting quarterback in the AFC.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he was like 41st out of 42nd.
16th is a compliment.
Well, I'm saying 16th because there's only 16 starters. Like
I know.
He had to be the last.
I'd put Snoop Huntley above him.
100%.
I'd put Joe Flacco above him.
Yeah. And like I guess you really can't give it to a backup. That seems particularly offensive.
I'd put Davis Mills ahead of him.
Yeah, I would too.
It's just what are we supposed like this feel now there's been some funny ones throughout the history.
Snoop Huntley.
Yes. This one
Rashawn Gary last year.
This one, like, we know how bad he was.
It's not a secret.
But he also, from a PR type thing, it might be wise because there's so many fans.
Sure. So you're saying maybe Shadur Sanders will revive the Pro Bowl.
No, I'm saying maybe you get a couple dozen more eyes to watch Shadur and people to talk about it. That to me is the best case you can make.
I will now confirm not be watching this. There was a small chance I was going to watch.
This is what did it.
The Pro Bowl has lost all of its credence.
I don't remember
Nice
the
word.
last time I watched the Pro Bowl. Like it
Did
has
the Packers
literally
not
been
have a single
years.
Pro Bowler? Oh, Micah Parsons is a Pro Bowler, I guess, but he obviously can't play.
And I mean, let's be honest, Jordan Love would be one if he were to accept it. He's not far down the list.
The three are, Sam Darnold's going to need to be replaced.
Yes.
But Matt Stafford and Dak Prescott are the other two. There's a lot of Seahawks on here, so maybe somebody else will get the call. But
Caleb.
Yeah, I think he has X amount of Pro Bowls. We can throw that away. Doesn't mean
it just kind of makes me sad.
And the thing also is, I also think the people determining the Pro Bowl, I don't think they're that serious about it. I don't think they pay all that much attention.
No. What gives that away?
I think who was it that got? Oh, Keyshawn Nixon got first team All Pro votes.
Yeah,
Christian Watson did as well.
He got one. Yeah, he got one.
There's got to be a bunch of people that just said no to it, right? They asked.
Yes.
They probably definitely asked Trevor Lawrence because I don't think he initially was on there.
Maybe
You would imagine. It's sort of akin to when the Miz got to go to the All-Star game, but at least the Miz had like something.
At least he was good.
Yeah, right. He was at least
At
good
that point.
prior to
that point.
prior to being invited.
Crazy. All right, well, that'll do it for us today. We're back with you Wednesday, beginning at 12:30 Central, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the ESPN Wisconsin app. I'm sure there's more changes coming, just like to our studio. Hopefully this tarp will be gone from behind me when we do this again on Wednesday.
Clean this desk, too.
Sounds like a good job for Joshy, the executive producer, right, Will? Sounds like executive producer stuff to me.
As Josh is my superior, I would like to put my name into the hat for that.
You're volunteering?
I said I'd put my name in the hat for it.
I will not be volunteering.
See, that's why you should make Strouf do it.
Yeah, that does sound like he just found himself a job.
One way or another, this probably could be blamed on him.
Yeah.
That's probably true. That part I don't disagree with.
If you don't shape up, you're gonna be using your tongue to clean it. So.
Whoa.
Wow. Get your tooth
frisky. Very frisky. Huh.
I think there should be a professional cleaning company. That seems to be.
We'll talk to you on Wednesday beginning at 12:30 Central. See you then. Peace.
Shots, explosives, you can run.